Hello, friends, beautiful tubers, people who may be watching this all the way around the world and back again. I am truly grateful. And I thought I'd come on and share with you today something that I recently had to learn for myself. It was a bit of a rude awakening, to be honest. And it was the lesson of acceptance. Oops, sorry, I'm just fiddling with my headsets and stuff, see if I can get a better. Just see if I can plug you in to get a bit of audio better, that's better. And the lesson I had to learn, as I say, was acceptance. Now, I didn't think that was the lesson. I didn't think that I had to move through anything in order to know acceptance on a different level. And basically, I've been having lots of experiences, and if I take this experience and take it apart and look at it from when did it start, let me just brief you. Wherever I go, I attract noise. Whether that's noisy neighbours, mainly noisy neighbours actually, whether that's noise from external sources interrupting whatever I'm doing. I'm a peaceful person. I love my peace and my tranquility. And as much as I know that what you give out you attract, part of me really, really didn't understand how could I possibly attract so much noise and disruption wherever I go. If I am such a peaceful... Sorry, I'm laughing now because I can hear my own words as I was saying this out loud to you, and I feel quite almost astonished that I was so ridiculously... I'm going to say dumb because I'm not dumb, but didn't get it anyway. So, yeah. Sometimes when you tell the story, you hear the truth, don't you? And it's not that I thought that I was right in any of the circumstances. Partly I did, so my ego was a little bit involved in. But this week, no, not this week, last week, I just got to the point, actually it was on the summer solstice, I got to the point where I just could not fathom how on earth I was attracting this disruption that was going on around me. And I refer to where I live. Somebody lived upstairs above my apartment, and this is an old manor house that I live in. And that person has been as quiet as a mouse. I mean, squeaky floorboards you accept in a manor house. And that's all I could hear until he moved his girlfriend in. And this is somebody who just doesn't do quiet on any level, in any shape or form. So this in itself was a huge disruption to my peace that I'd built in and from me and also within the apartment. So I just thought, you know what, I've just got to let this go. I've just got to rise above it. And then somebody else moved in one of the other apartments. There's only 5 in this manor house. And they're what I call a door slammer. So I've now got, and I'm not judging her, I have put names to this person because I could not, it really pulled my ego into a frenzy, and when she goes in a frenzy, she kicks off. So my ego got involved in this. Instead of me going into my Buddha self, I went into my ego self, and I've got Nelly the elephant living upstairs, and I've got a door slammer living across the way. Then he moves his girlfriend in, who's a smoker. So she now goes in and out the main front door, which is just, I'm on the ground floor, every hour on the hour, slamming the front door and leaving all her cigarette nub ends on the floor outside the front door. So everything now is really pushing my boundaries. And I thought, okay, there's two things I can do here. But it wasn't until a bit later on in the day that I actually got what I had to do. I've been working through this noise issue because I thought wherever I go, I can go to the quietest beach, and this has happened to me in Wales. I can be sitting there minding my own business, and a family of 5 came along, started playing games where I was sitting, and then verbally abused me in a huge way. But because I'm a Taurian, that wasn't going to work. So I stuck my hoofs into the sand and I am as stubborn as they come. When somebody tells me to do something, I will do the very opposite. Which doesn't always work out in a good way, but on this occasion, it kind of did. Well, it didn't actually, because it didn't stop happening to me. So wherever I go, I seem to attract this disruption. And it tends to be around noise or being verbally abused by people. And I thought, well, this is such an interesting thing. It isn't, but it is if you're on an awakening journey, which I believe everybody's on, whether you're consciously aware of it or not. I just happen to be consciously aware that I am on a creative pathway that is forever unfolding itself through me. And so I thought like attracts like. And I thought, yeah, but I'm not a noisy person. I am, I can go just so quietly through a jungle, nobody would know I was there. I'm so, I'm like a mouse. So I thought, so what is it? What's attracting this? Because it's got to be coming from me, otherwise it won't be happening. So I thought, So I've thought about it, and I've thought about it over the years, and actually it got to the summer solstice, and I'd had enough of the afternoon. I'd had a beautiful day, and I'd been out and saw the deer and seen the rat and all the beautiful things. Come back, and Nellie was home. That's her upstairs. And she was cleaning. Now, I don't disagree with cleaning, but cleaning, it sounds like she's coming through the ceiling. It sounds like she's throwing the furniture around. And so this disruption to my energy. But then I thought, hold on a minute. You're on the summer solstice. There is balance. There has to be balance. There has to be the negative and the positive. And because it was like this last year, I had the very same balance of disruption and balance of harmony all at the same time. It was quite crazy. And so this year I recognised it, thinking, light bulb moment, everybody. Now, I know people have got to live, and I've taken into account that I live in an apartment and you cannot get the total peace and tranquility is the same as if you lived in the middle of a field. And I get there has to be noise. Now, I'm not I'm going to sneeze, excuse me. Bless the universe, bless me. Sorry. So I know it sounds like I'm ranting, but I will get to a point here that hopefully is going to help someone else. So as much as I love my peace and my quiet and my tranquility, and I pray to the universe, and I say, dear Lord, dear Father, dear Heavenly, whoever you are, dear universe, angels, archangels, and ascended masters, I need your help. I need peace to surround this building, to surround the people, to help us all to be at one in a peaceful way, or something along those lines. But it never seems to, it does happen. But then there's this constant interruption. So on the midsummer, I looked at this and thought, okay, we've got the longest day of the year. This is perfect timing. Everything is in accordance with divine will. Nothing is ever wrong about why it happens and when it happens. There is no such thing as coincidence. So I thought this is the opportunity that I've been looking for and waiting for to unravel this, finally get to the bottom of this whatever it is that I'm constantly attracting. So remembering that we have 65,000 and then some unconscious thoughts a day. So this attracting negativity, this noise vibration, has been going on the whole of my life. Doesn't matter where I've been. It's followed. The only time, actually, I take that back. The only time it was never with me was in Australia, and in Wales, when I lived in Wales for a short time. But everywhere else, it was in Wales. No, actually, it was in Wales because I had that incident on the beach, didn't I? Yeah, so forget the Wales bit. So it wasn't in Australia anyway. Anyway, so back to this country, because I'm living in the here and the now. I thought, okay, so let's have a look at what this is really about. You know, I can give you 100 places where I've been, even into workplaces where I've been in salons where I've rented rooms, and when I used to work as a therapist, and I've rented rooms, and then somebody else would move in next door or above me or below me and be the most noisiest person on the planet, or a hairdresser or somebody. Oh, just constant. It was just been constant throughout my whole life. Anyway, it wasn't until the weirdest thing, I came home and she was just bouncing off the walls upstairs, and I thought, I cannot stay here and enjoy my midsummer day with her banging around like an elephant. So I went back to the park and I sat at the park, and then it started again, and every single dog that came past slobbered on me. If they didn't slobber on me, they jumped on me. They'd already been in the water, and they were jumping all over me. I was thinking all I wanted was some peace to figure this out. And then some guys came. Oh, they were across the other side of the park, and they must have had megaphones because I could hear every word they were saying, but they were far, far away. I thought maybe it's because I'm focusing on it. So that was part of my thinking. And then the rooks were so noisy, it sounded like they were having a party. And I did actually video this and say this on the video, but I'm not going to upload that, I don't think, just yet. I might not even upload it. So the 1,000,000 to 1 chance of the boyfriend the guy who lives upstairs, it's his girlfriend that is the problem. Or is she? I don't know, question mark. You might not see it as a problem, but I certainly do. Or did, at least. And he came across the park. Now, bearing in mind that this guy has got some issues involving alcohol and drugs. He seems to have gotten a little better since she's moved in, but he was walking home from the pub across the park. And I thought the chances of him coming here, and it was about, I don't know, 7:30, 7:45 at night. At the time, I'm sitting here trying to figure out what to do about this noise issue. The chances of him coming past me are more than 1,000,000 to 1. Because, I can't explain it, but there's a lot of reasons why he doesn't normally come through the park, because he doesn't go to the other pub. He goes to this local one that's even closer to us. That doesn't need a walk across the park. But this night, he was walking across the park. Now, bearing in mind that I fell out with him and didn't speak to him, I haven't spoken to him for 2 years based on something else that he said to me 2 years ago, and I thought, I don't want people like that in my life, so I've stopped talking to him. But he still continues to say hello to me and ask me how I am. Most of the time I ignore him. However, this wasn't one of those times. So my mouth set rant to him and had a go at him about his noisy girlfriend. And all he could do was patronise me. And there was part of me wasn't even engaged with my brain when I was saying all these things. It felt like I was sitting on the park bench and my mouth was engaged with the words that were coming out. My brain wasn't engaged, and I actually wasn't there. It was quite weird. But I also know there's another part of me that knows what that is. It's like I'm watching myself and I'm hearing what I'm saying, but more attention was being paid to what he said back to me. And I know that is the universal life force energy of whatever you want to call it, talking to me. The answers will always come within the question. or they're wrapped up there within the conversation, or in this case, my disagreement with him or his girlfriend. And there was two things he said to me. And the first one, I don't know why I asked him. I said at the end of the sort of, it wasn't a conversation, it was more of a rant. I don't suppose you'll be moving out anytime soon, knowing that I'd heard a conversation with another next door neighbour where he said they are moving out. Anyway, he had a rant back at me and said, you'll move before I do. And I thought, blessed be. Amen to that, because I want to go to Wales. So I thought that was a sign of the universe telling me that I would be going to Wales soon. Anyway, that went, and I thought, great, I let it all go. But this conversation kept popping up in my head throughout the night, and the next day, and the next night, and the next day. I thought, why on earth can I not let this conversation go? And the key word in there was, he has to put up with noise from the guy above him. And trust me, he is noisy. And I mean, I can hear him down here sometimes. And he said, we just accept it. And I thought, and I didn't like that, because I thought, accept it, you know. I was quite in resistance of this acceptance, that you just have to accept it. And I thought, yeah, but I don't. So there was the resistance. I don't have to accept it. I could ask, which I have done politely, asked you to consider others. And we do get letters all the time from estates management saying, please consider your neighbours, because people are being noisy against it. It's not the first time this has happened. Anyway, onward and upward to the fact that they were my lessons. But I don't even know that they're lessons. I think they're self-created lessons, let's put it like that. I don't think they're universal lessons, because the universe is only one vibration when it starts out, and that's just unconditional love. So I think these lessons that we get in life are our own self-created lessons, so that we can remember who we are at a core level. So this rude awakening, of all the places and of all the people it could have come from, it come from the very person I don't actually like or speak to. And I thought, that'd be right. And I just had to laugh at the universe, the way they'd set it up, because I've been asking for answers and looking for answers, and the universe sent it. But what I've learned over the years is, don't ever underestimate how it's going to be sent, and don't ever think it won't be sent through a source that you just wouldn't expect it to come through. And so I recognised that part immediately. Of all the people it could come from, it was from the guy whose girlfriend I've got an issue with. I haven't got an issue with her, I've got an issue with the noise that she makes. And so when I'd pondered on it for 3 days, I thought, there's got to be an answer in there somewhere in that whole conversation. So there I was. It was almost like I'd got the whole script in my head, and I was taking every word apart to find the answer. And I got it. It was acceptance. And I thought, not acceptance that you should accept. I think it's just rude, and actually, but this is just my belief. I think somebody being that noisy doesn't, because it's not necessarily banging doors, slamming doors, dragging furniture around, stomping on the floor. Because she's obviously very heavy-footed. Besides that, she's only probably a size 10. It's just inconsiderate and selfish. But that's just my judgment. I'm judging, aren't I? And I shouldn't do that. But to get the peace does happen when I ask, but it doesn't happen always, because it's constant. It's been constant around me, this attracting negative noise and disruption. So I thought, acceptance, what do I like about that? I thought, and there was my resistance, as I said in there. I don't have to accept this. This is just not on, you know. And then I thought, hold on a minute. Come on, let's really have a look at what acceptance actually means. And I thought, let's have a take it apart. This is how I take it apart. This is how I took it apart in my conscious and unconscious kind of mind. What would be the worst if I just accepted that this is who she is? And I kind of have accepted that, but I hadn't on a level I needed to. If that makes sense. Acceptance, I thought to myself. What if I accept the noise? Because that's basically what he was saying. We just accept it, how noisy the other person is. So we just accept it. And I thought, well, yeah, but I'm not like that. You are horizontal and drunk most of the time. That's probably why you can accept it. And if you're not on alcohol, you're off your face. So that's probably why you accept it. I don't. And I thought, okay, let's get past the resistance. Let's dig deeper. So what is the reason I'm not choosing to accept it? It's a vibration. It's noise, but it's still a vibration. And then I thought, let's put this noise thing into another category of, well, what if this was a waterfall? Would you be upset with it then? And I thought, no, I wouldn't. A waterfall, if you're that close to big waterfalls, they make so much noise, you're almost deafened by it. And I thought, but I wouldn't be upset with that. And then my head went, yeah, but what's the reason you wouldn't be upset with it? See, I coach myself. I self-mentor and coach myself. Ask the right questions and you get the right answers. So I thought, well, because it instills this vibration of stillness and tranquility. And I thought, well, so why doesn't noise then? Why doesn't any noise do that? I thought, because somewhere in my brain I've trained my brain to say that certain noises cannot mean or equal peace. I thought, how very interesting. So I pondered with that a little bit more and thought, what if they were standing by a motorway, which I hate the noise of motorways, but I learnt a lesson from this as well, and I had forgotten this in this drama that's kicking off here. I'd forgotten this other lesson that had been given to me, got to be at least 19 years ago, and then some 18, maybe 15 years ago, I don't know. And I'd gone for a walk with somebody that at the time I thought was quite nice. I'm so glad the universe didn't allow me to have that one. We went across the fields and we were stood by a motorway. And he said he used to go over there to meditate. And I was like, by a motorway, you're having a laugh, right? And this guy was a little bit weird. In a weird way, but really nice in a weird way. It was quite weird. Anyway, so he said, no, just close your eyes and listen. And what he did was he got into the rhythm of all of the vibrational noise, the tyres. And I did it and I thought, wow, considering he's a construction worker, he's actually got a point. And I really never thought, when you look at him, talk to him and got to know him, there's no way on this earth you'd ever think that he would go and talk about things like meditation or relaxation and mindfulness. And I actually did close my eyes and I listened to the rhythm of the tyres on the tarmac. And I actually got into quite a deep state of trance. Almost had an out-of-body experience. And I'd forgotten about that when this noise was going on, because it's a different type of noise. So I asked myself the question, if the birds are singing and making a racket, which sometimes they do, when it's super quiet at 5 o'clock in the morning, the dawn's chorus seems so much louder because there's no traffic and no other external noise filtering it out. And I thought, no, but I wouldn't be upset with that type of noise because it's beautiful. So again, my inner dialogue question was, so what's the reason you're getting upset with noise? Just, stomping feet and dragging furniture. I was like, I don't know, but it irritates me rather than brings me into a state of peace. And then something else dawned on me. So what if you focus on, because what you focus on, you attract more of. I was like, okay, so we're not to attract on it. What if I just accept the noise? And then I remembered somewhere along my pathway, I learnt about focus on the space between the noise. And I can't remember where I read it, who I learnt it from, or how I even know it. And I thought, the space between the noise is the peace. So the peace is still in there, but just I'm not focusing on it, which is the reason I can't remember it, or I can't hear it or feel it. And I'm focusing on the noise, which is why I'm hearing more of it, which all of it made logical sense. Making logical sense and doing it, I might add, my friends, are worlds apart. However, and who had kind of got a theory going on here, thinking, So it was mainly, I think, about the acceptance. Accept the noise, accept the vibration, because it's just noise. There is no disruption in it. It's just noise. So I won't say I've got a grade A in this at the moment, or an ology, because I'm still working on it. But I just wanted to look at with you to say, you know what is it that you don't accept in life, when actually accepting it would just make things a whole lot different. And I'm not talking about if you're in a situation where you are being hurt in any way, abused in any way. That is not acceptance. You don't have to accept that. You don't have to accept any form of violence towards you. But we're talking about noise. So I either accepted that this is just the way it was, and I'm in the presence of now, and just acknowledge, listen to that noise, but let's find the space between the noise to find the peace. And I'm going to see how it works. I don't know. I think I've accepted it. I've had to say it a few times today, and especially since she's got home tonight, is that it's just noise. I accept it. So acknowledging it, hopefully, will reverse the energy from within me that keeps putting it out to attract more of it. But it has been difficult for me to look at this, to say the two key words was, I'll be moving before they do, and I hope that is true, because I really do want to go to Wales, and that just accept it, we just accept it. And I thought, wow, that was a real, of all the people that could have said it, I didn't really want to hear it from him. But I've opened myself to say that I don't judge where the universe sends its answers from. I'm grateful for the answer coming to me. So whenever you get an answer, or you're listening for your message, universal message or guidance, don't ever underestimate where it might come from. It'll come from the weirdest source most of the time. So acceptance, I've had to accept that I can't change, and I'm not trying to change her. I was just asking for her to be a little bit more considerate. She was this morning, but she's not tonight, so, who knows. It felt like the resistance was about, why should I do the accepting? Why can't she have a bit more consideration, which would be the balance? And I thought, yeah, but this is not, she doesn't think she's a problem, so that's never going to work. So it was really, I'm the one with the issue, so I have to work on working out, really, or surrendering the issue. Otherwise, the problem is never going to go away, and I'm going to keep attracting it, because I'm not, there's the key word, I'm not accepting that it's just energy. And I don't argue with thunder. That makes a right racket sometimes, doesn't it? Because I love thunder, but I don't argue with it. I don't think, oh my God, it's thundering, shut up. I just love it. I love thunder. I love the rumbles, and so when I really took it apart and looked at some of the things, like a waterfall, I wouldn't moan at that, bird song, traffic, you see, and hammering. Just, I suppose, when I'm in the middle of a meditation, there's some builder starts drilling and building and chainsaw chopping trees down. I can't. That sort of noise really is disruptive to my energy field, and to me as a human. So I was like, okay, so let's just move through this and just accept its noise. So that is what I thought I'd share with you. It's nearly up to half an hour. And so yes, that's been my lesson. It's not a lesson. I just think they're awakenings. I didn't have to learn anything. I just had to remember that noise is just noise. I don't think we have to learn anything. I think we know everything. We've just forgotten an awful lot, and that we're in the presence of now all the time. in this moment, it is what it is, and acceptance of where I'm at, not even why I'm here, just accept I'm here right now in this moment, despite what's going on outside of myself. I've got the peace inside of me. The peace resides always inside of me, not external to me. And if I can lock into that, then I've got peace, abundance of peace always. What I hear externally shouldn't matter to me. And I know that because I should be doing mindfulness on this as much as I'm trained in all of that. Sometimes it doesn't matter how much training you've got. Sometimes you are still resistant. That's what the humanness is of all of us. We have this resistance to the truth of who we are. So I thought I'd come on and share that with you. And the image that you've been staring at all night, this one here, as I come in from the camera, this is the, you can't much see that black one, but this is the canvas that I printed on, that you could see in the other video. So that's what you've been staring at. I hope it wasn't too boring for you. But I've decided my YouTube channel is going to change a little bit now. Couldn't find my rhythm in it actually earlier when I've been doing my craft work, and I thought this isn't feeling flowy and right. So I've decided meditation is on Mondays, and then I'm going to vlog inspiration, motivation and mentoring. Unless of course the universe has got another plan for me and that doesn't work out. But for now, that's what I'm going to be focused on. So giving you insights and hopefully giving you some helpful tips to say, what was the last issue that you had, and do you just accept it, or is it really antagonising you? Life lessons, and I'm going to call that series. I've done it before. I've written a whole program on it actually, but it kind of got lost in the ethers, and I had a few issues in the past. I'm not going to go into it, where a couple of my channels got shut down. So I've had to start all over again. But that's okay. So, yeah. So it's called, the program that I'm going to run is called Interior Design for Life. So instead of interior design for your home, this is for your life. So it's really refurbishing your connection to your inner self and helping you to redesign the internal version of you in order to get the external dream that you want, your visions, your dreams, your hopes, all of that. You can't do anything. If you're looking external to yourself, then it's not missing out there, it's missing from within you. And so the Interior Design for Life program, I'm going to start vlogging around, and hopefully that will give you some helpful information for your own journey, and that you can then pass it on to others. So that's it for now, guys, because we're up to 33. Hope you've had an amazing day, and wherever you are in the world, namaste.